Question, real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good, the bad, and the shocking stories of sugar dating. I've actually got a couple stories. Nikki has a couple stories. Welcome. And then we have a guest, so we're going to rush through these, but I'll tell you what, it's been a wild week. But speaking of wild week, we're having one, July 17th through 19th. It's Sugarpalooza 8. Nikki's coming.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be hot.
Very hot. Yes.
But every Airbnb that we have has a pool. Jay's house has a pool. My house has a pool. You will stay cool if you want to stay cool. And you go from air-conditioned car to air-conditioned building. It's fine. But anyway, we're going to have a big party structured very similar to all the other Sugarpaloozas on Friday night. We're going to have a nice mixer at Jay's house. It's a lovely place. And then on Saturday, we're going to have a pre-party again at Jay's house, where we're going to have the infamous party bus pick us up and take us to the country club, where we have a ballroom reserved and a special band coming all the way in from California to entertain us called Levitating. And they are a Dua Lipa tribute band, my favorite artist. I'm excited about that. Do you know a lot of Dua Lipa songs?
I like her, yes.
Oh, yeah. And then we're going to dance our asses off there, have a really good time. We got a photo booth. We're going to feed you dinner, open bar. It could get a little crazy. Then the party bus will take us back to Jay's and after the night and at the end of the night, and we'll see where it goes. Then the next day, Lily and Trucker have graciously offered to open up their house for brunch. So that is on the 19th, and then we'll be taking people back to the airports and wherever they need to go. It's going to be a lot of fun. Men, if you want to be a part of this epic event, get a hold of me at info@secretsofasugardaddy.com or just message me through one of our social medias. We'll get you all the information on how to become a sponsor. And the more sponsors we have, the better it's going to be for everyone. So we really want you to help us out there. And then women, it's free for you. All you got to do is figure out how to get to Phoenix. And it's very cheap to get here.
Yes, because in the summertime, the flights are cheap.
They're pretty much just giving away flights and rental cars and things like that. So put your application in. They are open at secretsofasugardaddy.com, and we'll have a link to it in this podcast. It's on our website. It's easy to find. It's on our Instagram. And then if you're a member of our community, of our Patreon, you get priority status when it comes to these parties and application. And you can find that at patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. We offer coaching, profile reviews, community, a lot of good stuff there. All right, running short on time already. So I think we're going to start with Nikki. Nikki, okay. I said, hey, do you have anything quick you want to talk about before we get to our guest? And she goes, well, I went to the sex club this week. I'm like, stop the presses. I got to hear all about it.
Because, I've been trying to do this for a while. I've been obsessed with doing this, and I finally went with my guy, and I was so underwhelmed.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if it's because we went on Saturday night, which was the day before Mother's Day, and it was dead. I don't know if that had something to do with it, or it was the location. But everything leading up to that was great. We had a great dinner. We went to the sex store because he bought me my black strap-on.
Yeah.
Yep. And
How many inches was it?
oh my God. Inches, girth, everything.
Oh,
It
man.
was crazy.
Okay.
And the woman, I wish I would have remembered her name, but the woman who helped us was amazing. She fitted me for it right then and there under my dress. And
Wow.
then we found other things we wanted, so we walked out of there with 2 huge grocery bags of toys and this strap-on that was already on me by the time we walked out.
Really?
And then,
Do you feel like a
I now have a new
stud walking around
I
there?
have a new appreciation for men.
It's hard to walk around with these things.
Yes, I now understand why they keep adjusting themselves and touching themselves because I kept doing that. So this thing was just in the way. But then we got to the location. They had really good security. Like they patted my guy down. He's like, there's no way a guy would get in here with anything the way these pat downs are going. But we walked in and it was very dead. The music was shitty. It just wasn't exciting. It didn't have an exciting vibe. I guess I expected something more like erotic or something like 50 Shades of Grey, kind of like the Red Room. And it was very, very dead. Marcus, you made a comment about like that we may see certain types of people wearing certain types of things that we might not want to see.
Yeah.
That happened. That happened a lot.
You're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be dressed like that.
And then they had a dungeon. So I was kind of excited to see the dungeon because I know Amy in the past had talked about a dungeon. And this one was not as elaborate as I thought. There was a couple cages and a couple people in there, but then there were seats and couches and nothing really that seemed exciting going on. So we hung out and talked a little bit, and we had planned on getting a room there, but once we saw the rooms, we weren't actually sure how sanitary they were. We were a little worried about that.
Well, I'm telling you, the one in Mesa, the Sweet Spot, it's very sanitary.
It is?
Yeah, and they
Okay.
have a lady that goes through and cleans
Okay.
constantly. Yeah,
So
while you're there.
yeah, we were a little worried. We didn't see anyone cleaning, so we just decided to go back to his house for that. So, I mean, we were there a few hours. I don't think we'll go back.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that
No,
one is
it
up
was
to
not
par.
exciting. I don't know if it was the weekend we went or what, but I'm going to have a redo at some point to go somewhere else.
Well, maybe we'll try to make a trip to the Sweet Spot while during Sugarpalooza.
That would be great.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. See
Okay.
if we have time. All right. Well, sorry it didn't work out to your
Yeah.
expectations, but
Yep.
you did it.
I was very disappointed, but yes, I did it, and I wore a strap on the whole time.
All right. So my quick stories of the week. So as I've talked about on here, Alejandra and I have been dating. Matter of fact, it'll be 4 years come Sugarpalooza weekend.
Oh wow,
So that's our
that's a
anniversary, right?
milestone.
And we were exclusive for like 6-7 months out of that 4 years, but we've been open pretty much and just decided, mutually that we just enjoy it. It's kind of like, I think she would like to be exclusive, but she doesn't mind being non-exclusive because she's having fun too and meeting all kinds of interesting people. Matter of fact, funny story, we're going to Rocky Point this weekend with her parents, and we're staying in a condo, a penthouse condo. It's supposed to be like right on the beach. And
Is this the first weekend you've spent with her family?
no, we went to Cabo. So Podcast Fanboy has a really nice penthouse suite there in Cabo, and her parents went.
Okay.
And the first half of the trip, and then the second half of the trip, Lily and Trucker came down. So
Okay.
it was nice because we were able to spend. And then last time we were there, we got to spend it with Podcast Fanboy and his bride. They weren't married yet; they're married now. And what a segue! So the reason I even brought this story up was because Alejandra and I are open, and she was in Mexico, actually going for Mother's Day weekend, visiting a small town, visiting family, right? So last minute, I end up going to the Global Ambassador to eat dinner with somebody I'd never met before. And we were just chatting. It was like late. It was like, I said, look, I can't even be there till like 10:30 tonight. She said, that's fine. So I met this girl there, or she was headed there, and I got there. So it's about 10:40 when I actually was walking into the Global Ambassador, and I hear this. I go, somebody goes, Marcus is here. Oh, no. I'm just like, I turn around, and it's Podcast Fanboy's wife.
You're kidding.
And she's 26, right? And she's with this older Russian lady. And then I see Podcast Fanboy getting out of his car valeting, and I'm like, oh, so I walk around. I said, hey, hi. And then I walked around to Podcast Fanboy, and I said hello to him. He goes, yeah, this is her Russian friend. It's like her mother's age or something like that. And they were just giggling and laughing. You know, they were all dressed, pretty nice to go have drinks or whatever. And then she goes, where's Alejandra? And I go, oh, she's in Mexico. And she's looking at me kind of weird. And then I go, Podcast Fanboy is kind of like, oh, is Alejandra here or whatever? I said, oh, I'm actually meeting somebody I've never met here before. I've never met.
No.
So he goes, so this could be interesting. He's like, oh, okay. I mean, he knows, right? He knows
But she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
Oh, God.
And she knows Alejandra, and she's friends with her. Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, no.
So I meet the girl, and she's dressed very nice, looks pretty good. She's no beauty queen, but she's not ugly either.
Right.
Right? She's okay. I certainly wasn't embarrassed to be with her, but I could tell this was going to be a one and done. I wasn't planning on doing it again. Somebody nice to meet, have dinner with. At the end of the night, you go your way, I go mine, right? We're walking so I meet the girl in the lobby, and we're walking to the elevator because the restaurant's on the top floor. And lo and behold, Podcast Fanboy's wife and the woman come walking through the area, and I guess they were going to the bathroom or something, and we run right into them.
Oh, no.
So I was like, hey, how are you? And she looks me up and down, looks the girl up and down, and says this, way better than you.
Oh, shit. She thought you were cheating.
Can you believe that?
No.
I was pissed. And then they walked off. And then, so now I'm sitting there having to explain to this girl what just happened here. So we're in the elevator going up. She didn't really care that much, but I was like, oh man, I said, that was very rude. I'm sorry, whatever. And so anyway, we go have dinner. It was nice. It was okay. We didn't vibe too much, but at the end of the night, literally she went her way. We said, hey, let's keep in touch. And that was it. We didn't. Mm-hmm. So anyway, then like the next day, I'm talking about something. Somebody was talking about age gap relationship. And I go, oh, I just ran into a buddy of mine yesterday who is in like a 42-year age gap relationship, marriage. Let me show you. And I went to pull up her Instagram. I'd been disconnected. She'd completely disconnected me from her social media. And I went, oh, well,
wow,
that's interesting. I wonder if Podcast Fanboy even explained to her what was going on with, So anyway, yesterday, Podcast Fanboy messages me about that night, but it was about something else. Like her friend had met a guy, and the guy ended up not being who he said he was. Mm-hmm. Said he was an ex-NFL football player for the Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, Podcast Fanboy looked him up, and it was a lie. So anyway, he was telling me about that because he knows I'm a big Cowboys fan, I guess. And I go, oh, wow, that's interesting. Oh, and by the way, your bride was very rude to me. And he goes, yeah, she said she was rude.
Oh, so she knew it.
I was like, she absolutely, like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
He goes, yeah, she doesn't, her ideas of a traditional relationship don't revolve around, openness and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And so he goes, she's very judgmental. I'm like, oh, well, that's real nice.
Wow.
So, whatever.
Did she contact Alejandra?
No, Alejandra was gone, so they haven't communicated. But I'm just like, well, you know what? It's not your place to be judgmental, first of all. And then, think down on me or whatever you did.
Wow.
So, whatever. Good. You know what? Fine. I love Podcast Fanboy to death, and I'll still be friends with them, and I'll be nice to her if we're ever in a social situation. But that, you don't have right to be rude to somebody.
Right.
And apparently she thought she had the right to be rude.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
So that was Saturday or Friday night. It was a Friday night. And then my second quick story is I love Alejandra to death, and I really appreciate her allowing me to kind of just still have fun. So spur of the moment, somebody on Seeking looked very interesting. She was 37. She said in her headline, she goes, "You've never met someone like me."
That's
All right,
intriguing.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
She was attractive. She had a bikini picture. She was good body. Her bio said that she just likes to be silly and some other things. And then she had we had some common interests. So I was like, you know what? I'd love to sit down. Oh, she said she'd been to Dubai as a government worker and she's done this and all that. And anyway, she had like a really cool background. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'd love to sit down and just hear what's going on with this girl. So I told Alejandra, I said, hey, I'm going to meet this girl for drinks at Bar Louie. And she's like, okay, and have fun. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I met this girl. Oh my God. It was just from the very beginning, I could tell this one, I had caught a hold of a wild one, but she was fun, right? But she was just different and very outgoing. And she is half Filipino, half German, I think.
Okay.
Very pretty mix. And then she's like, you know, us Filipinos, we're good singers. I love karaoke. And I go, oh, really? And she goes, I'm a good singer. I'm like, well, I think I might have to have you prove that. So we went to the karaoke bar in Old Town
really?
Scottsdale.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, she jumped on that mic like she owned it and she worked that room. And her first song she sang was a Dua Lipa song.
Okay.
And then she sang Adele. And she got a little spicy with some of the tables. And anyway, we had such a great time. I dropped her off and, I don't know if I'll see her again, maybe. But anyway, I told Alejandra about the date and I go, she goes, did you have fun? I go, I did. I had a lot of fun. I met somebody really interesting and new. She's not going to replace you, but it's something that you would never do. And she's like, you're right. You are never going to catch me in a karaoke bar. So that was kind of an interesting night. And that's kind of why I don't want to get tied down and be exclusive because I feel like I miss out on these opportunities to meet wonderful people.
Yeah. Yeah, your weekend went from a weird Friday night to a really exciting, fun Saturday night.
Well, actually, that just happened last night, which was a Wednesday night. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, the rest of the weekend I didn't do much, but I just was really annoyed Friday night.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was it.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So,
that's a lot.
Hey, let's bring in our guest. I have a whole list of things that we're going to talk about, and there's no way we're going to get to all these. And I've got a whole list of statements too, and a little bit of debate because a few of these things I'm like, oh, really? Hey, she was on our podcast a few weeks ago. Welcome back, Suki. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Now, are you still in London or wherever you're at?
I'm in Malta now. I just got here. I came here to fuck this Uber driver that I met a couple months ago. It was really, really fun. So
wait, you came to do what?
There was this Uber driver that drove me home one night a couple months ago when I was here, and we had really magical sex. And so I came back to just have a little bit more
magic.
More magic.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
All right. Well, let's just get started off right. So there's a kind of you came on with Queen Lilith last time, and there's just no way we could get through that podcast very well. It was just almost like controlled chaos. Now that you're a little bit more, now we've singled you out. There's a lot of subjects that you're kind of passionate about and that you want to talk about, and one of them is AI, which I am too, because it's unbelievable what you can do. It's unbelievable how my conversations back and forth with women are panning out just like they should if I do it right. And I'll punch things into AI and I'm like, oh yeah, that is a good thing to say. And then it's like, oh, and then here's their likely response. And almost like magic, that's what happens.
So this really surprises me. I think maybe because I'm a writer, I'm really, really sensitive to certain kinds of communication. I'm very fond of the power of words, and I just find that AI cannot write like someone that unique. It definitely can't write like a cool person. It does not have that ability yet. It might come up with good strategies for helping you. Like it could improve your conversion rate. It will have good ideas, especially to improve over just saying something like, hey, how are you? So it will devise good ideas for getting you toward, whatever it is you are trying to achieve. But it can't express your personality, obviously, even if it is playing a little bit on your tone.
I disagree because my chat GPT knows me. Because it says, would you like me to put this more in Marcus style confidence? Mm-hmm. It literally says that. It does? Yeah, and so what I do is they'll give me 4 or 5 options, and they'll say, here's something more confident and bold, here's something more playful, here's something more flirty, here's something if you don't really give a fuck, right? And then I kind of take what I like and what expresses the best for me of what the point I'm trying to get across. Sometimes I'll change a word here and there. Almost every time I do. I don't copy and paste. But I feel like it expresses exactly the sentiment that I want to get across.
How does it get to know you? Is it because you've used it?
Yeah, I've used it so much.
So it remembers?
Yeah, it does.
Oh my God. That's scary.
It's unbelievable, yeah. Oh. Now, does that make this whole thing, does that make it fake, or does that just make us more efficient?
Well, I want to know that people can come up with their own things to say for sure. And I think that most people don't use AI enough for it to really be able to express their personality. And so it does all sound the same. I mean, so many of these bios use exactly the same phrasing because they're all just, and for me, it's usually very, very easy to see. So if you're an advanced user, that's a different thing. But for me, when I just see everyone who seems exactly the same, they're making no effort to actually use their own words. It just gives me the feeling that people don't have the self-awareness, and it seems a little bit lazy. And
well, I don't know if it's lazy. I think it's more efficient. But here's the problem: you still have to meet that person, and you have to meet them in person, right? So you're falling for a personality that doesn't exist.
Right.
So that's a problem, because when you're in front of somebody, you're on the fly now. You can't access Chat GPT or AI. Yeah.
So it's not only that, like just the tone of it and the style usually I find quite cringy, and I haven't seen the way it helps you to communicate. So yours might be great, but a lot of times it can be awful. But then the other thing that really sucks is the whole sycophancy part. It's, when you have something that is being really nice to you all the time, you can see how that's impacting people's personalities nowadays. And I think that, that's especially hard with sugar dating relationships, because guys already want something totally frictionless. And if they're on AI all the time and AI is so nice and always complimenting them, they get used to, used to never having any friction. And so I feel like, there was one time when you said, I want everybody to be the best version of themselves. But I think that in a way it can make you better in certain things, but it's also making people who are completely unable to deal with any sort of critical feedback or any hardship or any growth, any difficulty in relationships. And so, we also enable that a little bit as sugar babies, because we try to, basically the guy with his generosity, he's trying to essentially access something that is very smoothed out for him, sugar baby's not going to nag.
Yeah.
He gets his blowjobs whenever he wants. He gets someone who just lifts him up and is supportive all the time. But I just wonder how it's how it's going to impacts the next generations who just don't really know how to challenge themselves.
Well, here's the issue. I went through a very tough breakup in 2020. My marriage breakup wasn't tough. We were done. So I didn't really have to go through much. But when I actually had a relationship that I cared about end, I was torn up. And I had to go through a lot of healing, a lot of learning, a lot of just figuring out who I was and who I wanted to be. And I did the work. And that's part of the reason I started the podcast is because now when I talk to people, I'm so much more emotionally intelligent than I was back then. And people can really see that and appreciate that. If you had got me 5-6 years ago, I'm a different version, right? The problem with AI is it's making average men sound emotionally intelligent when they're not.
Yeah.
And then when they're actually in a relationship, then it all blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's
women too.
really
I mean, both sides.
Suki, do you use AI for anything related to dating?
So I've been taking quite a step back just because it gives me wrong information all the time. I will never have it generate actual text for me. I might, if I have something really complicated that I'm writing, I might say, here's my outline, and do you think it makes sense to reorder anything? Like, are there transitions that I'm missing out on? That kind of stuff. But it just so often says something with great certainty that is completely wrong. This happens. It started happening so often that I couldn't believe it. I felt like, the last 5 things that I asked it about, it gave me completely wrong information. I was asking something about genealogy. I was asking something simple about, nearby dog-friendly pubs. Like, it's just so weird that it's getting this stuff wrong, and I get into fights with it. Like, I can't do this anymore, and especially when I see the psychosis that's developing, where people are getting into these really insane situations. They're using it for therapy in ways that it was not really advisable. But these people are going on these tangents where they'll think they came up with some invention, and the AI says, "Oh yes, you're the smartest person in the world," and then they think that they have this top secret thing, and that the government is spying on them and going to come get them for this idea. Like, there's so many weird stories now of it just making people get totally carried away. So I am very reluctant to use it. And I try to train it to understand my tone, and it still is constantly complimenting me. I say, don't ever compliment me. I don't want that
funny
bullshit. And it still does. But you can tell the AI, when people are coming up with the AI companions, they say, I just want one as a friend. Please don't make it sexual. And it still pushes the sexual stuff. So, yeah.
So anyway,
I guess not easily tradeable.
I guess the end result is proceed with caution.
Yes.
I think it's a very valuable tool if used correctly, and if you actually just need it to help you phrase something that you want to phrase, but you're just having trouble coming up with the right way to say it. I actually, I've used it where, let's say somebody cancels a date on you, and then they're just really short. And then I go in there, I'm like, hey, I've been dating this girl for 6 months. She's never canceled. And then all of a sudden she just canceled at very last minute without any explanation. Should I be concerned, or how should I handle this? And it's like, okay. And it gave me this whole list of reasons why. Just let it go. You should hear some responses. Then if it continues to be a pattern, then we can address that next time. But if it's just a one-time thing, don't panic. Don't blow her phone up. Don't start asking questions. Just say, hey, great, I'll check with you next week or whatever, right? I thought that was great advice.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be good.
So,
but I'm trying to stay away from it because I think it's just making people a bunch of whiny little titty babies who don't know how to handle anything.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Okay, well, let's move on because I know we're limited on time, and there's some great subjects that we want to discuss with you. What's this women need more sex BS?
Yay! So I thought that I sounded kind of bitchy on the last podcast, so I wanted to do this public service announcement as my service to all women, especially younger women. When you're a sugar baby, you are, you know your worth, you know your value, and you kind of only want to make sure that you get into situations where people appreciate that. But I think it's also very important in life to just have random, spontaneous sex. And, it's one of the healthiest things that you can do. It's one of the best ways for expelling trauma from the body. It is so good in so many ways. But when you're always having sex in sugar relationships, it is a very specific dynamic. And, again, going back to the social smoothing thing where, the women are doing a lot of emotional labor to make sure that the guy is happy. And she is usually doing sexual things in response to what he wants. So she never really has sexual agency. And when you have sexual agency, your libido responds differently. Your whole arousal system acts very, very different. And so it's important to know that you are in touch with your desires. This is something that helps you develop so much confidence, not just in bed. Like it helps you develop your compass for knowing what you want. And, if you look at the sort of like the most high end sugar babies, like historically, like the geishas and the consorts to the king and the temple goddesses, they had talents that were, people would travel across oceans to come to them. And that is something that you get from having a lot of fucking practice. So like there's a couple great examples, like in Game of Thrones, when Khaleesi and Khal Drogo first get married, and the sex is really horrible because he's just like treating her like an animal. And then she has one of the women teach her, like, actually, if you know what you want, you take charge a little bit, you can do it quite differently. And then she goes and shows him this kind of sex. And then they fall in love and she becomes really powerful because it's this thing where she embodied her sexual power. Similar thing happens in Anora. These are things that come from having a variety of sexual experiences where you're not always the person who is
pleasing,
the responsive person who is pleasing and who is kind of serving the man.
So how do you recommend that women get more sex, especially outside of sugar relationships?
Well, I think it's
Uber drivers.
Well, I mean, that's my flavor of doing it. But
I drove Uber. That never happened to me. Although I wanted it to a couple times.
I mean, my style is very much like the bartender or the busboy or whatever. And I know that a lot of women, that's not their style. But I think it's about opening your eyes to what you really like. And when there's something spontaneous and enthusiastic, then you just go for it without thinking, am I getting enough out of this? Again, that puts you in the position that, that creates a power dynamic where you don't get to stand up for what you want. So I think it's just a matter of opening your eyes and, putting yourself in situations where you can create, women can do this amazing thing of creating a sexual energy bubble to suck men in sexually. So if you're kind of on that wavelength, it becomes really magical, and a lot of sex comes to you when you're in that mode. So I just think it's a really hard thing for sugar babies because they don't they don't want to make themselves look super sexually available. They want to hold on to it as something that is really treasured and really special. And it is, but then you're never going out and being the actual sexual agent. So,
well, and the other thing that can happen too for women who are really particular about sugar relationships and they're looking for very specific situations, very specific arrangements, and they're kind of holding back until they find those. It means also that they're probably not having much sex with too many people at all because they're just waiting for like the right kind of arrangement.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that people have totally different values from me. Like, I have a crazy libido. I need to fuck a lot of different people all the time, and I love one night stands. So a lot of people are not like that. I mean, I'm not trying to force people to be as slutty as I am, but I think that embodying your sexual power is really, really important, and especially as you get older, because perimenopause changes your body so much. And I think that, you know, there are friends of mine who just immediately lose their sex drive, and then there are other people like me where it like kind of explodes even more. And that's because you are putting yourself in sexual situations where you know how powerful your sexuality is, and you know your desires, and you actually want it, and you're going after it.
Well, I guess to sum this section up is women, they don't want less sex than men, they just want better sex.
I know that's true for me. I want better sex all the time.
Yeah. But also when they are holding on to it because they want to make sure that it is going to be valued, it just turns into a dynamic that is not as proactive. And the thing is, like, when you're kind of on the defense, your sexual physiology doesn't work as well. So, you know, you have to get out of that defensive mode, and then things, you gotta keep it juicy.
And Suki, how old are you?
I'm 49, and I really hope my libido doesn't ever wane. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to at this point. But, you know, for me, it feels like such a wonderful gift, and it always has been throughout my life. And so, you know, I'm always trying to tell women to, you know, go out and be adventurous sexually. But I think especially for sugar babies, just because they tend to always be in a dynamic where they are serving, and that gives you a totally specific sexual perspective, and you kind of need to play different roles to make sure that you're able to really do it in a magical, powerful way.
All right. Next subject that was on your list, and this one's going to be a good one because I have thoughts on this. I think they're opposite of you.
Okay.
Why do you think women are the prize?
Oh my God. Okay.
Are you? Did you bring that up because I did address that in a few episodes ago?
Yeah. So I've heard you mention it a couple of times, but I hear it a lot. I mean, it's a very common refrain amongst a lot of men, and I think that it doesn't make sense to me for a lot of reasons. I mean, first of all, like, to be the prize is inherently objectifying, and men are never the ones who are objectified. Men are always the protagonists of the story. They're the ones who get to go on the epic quest and slay the dragons and fuck the mermaids and come back with the chalice. And my thing I always used to say is, he who has the phallus gets to claim the chalice. Like, you guys are the ones who are going for the prize. You get to go and get that. And if you were to reverse everything where now all of a sudden the men are the prize, then you would have to turn everything about patriarchy upon its head, where, you know, where the men are being objectified, where the men are the ones. If women were were all of the Fortune 500 CEOs, you know, and men are the ones getting sexually harassed all the time, then it would make a little bit more sense to me. But as it stands, women are still the ones who take on more risks in dating. And so that makes us much more reluctant. And so we have to be coaxed into these situations. And so with that dynamic, I think that is, like that still makes me consider the women the prize. We are doing a lot more of the emotional labor and social smoothing and effort in these relationships. And so that is something that is very sought after, which is, a much bigger effort and contribution than just throwing down money. And we are still the ones who are dehumanized and objectified in heterosexual relationships. So it just doesn't make sense for me it doesn't make sense when the only difference with sugar dating is that, the dynamic is the same as the guys just can do it more efficiently because they are doing the very clever thing of being generous. So they have access to better prizes, and they're, the process for getting the prize is a little bit easier for them. But it just doesn't make any sense to me to all of a sudden have it be like the women are parading the men around like they're the trophies.
Okay, all right.
That's not what's
this
happening.
is where we differ, because clearly there's a spectrum, there's a scale where women are the prize to a point, right? When I had nothing, when I was up and coming, I hadn't accomplished anything, getting a certain type of woman was a prize. I mean, it was very difficult, almost impossible, right? There's a point where men can surpass women and they become the prize. Who's chasing Leonardo DiCaprio? Who's chasing Bradley Cooper? Who's chasing Brad Pitt? They're not chasing the women. The women are chasing them. Why is that? It's because they have achieved a status, a public status, that women find attractive, and for them, a pretty woman, a pretty face, a prize is a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. But for a woman to bag a superstar like that, somebody that's wealthy, famous, somewhat put together, blah blah blah, that's a prize. With sugar dating, it allows ordinary men like myself, who've accomplished some things and have some wealth and some generosity, to become almost like them, a prize.
So I'm pretty sure with the celebrities, they are still just calling their friends who own modeling agencies and saying, like, which hot young model should I date? I think it's still the guys.
Well, they may get assistance. They may look for us like referrals, but they don't have any problem having a selection of girls that they could go out with. Where right. So we've talked about this, and with social media and all this, an average looking girl has a sexual pull and sexual power of a celebrity. She could have she could bet a different guy every night, easy, no problem. Mm-hmm. An average guy cannot do that. Okay.
Right. And so his needs are more urgent and more more desperate, and so that's what makes the woman the prize.
Yeah, but now that I personally, and hundreds of thousands of other men personally, have surpassed being an average guy, mm-hmm. Now we could bet a different woman every single night if I wanted to. So okay. I have no problem getting women now.
Okay. I still think that women need to go through a very intensive evaluation process with the guy to know that they can trust him, and that happens through all the regular ways, and it's sped up through the money, but it's still you guys trying to convince women to sleep with you and hang out with you, and that's why the money is going in that direction.
That's the cheat code. Right.
I think just the direction of the transaction makes it very simple for me to see that the women are still the prize, because they have to be convinced to get into this situation.
And here's a problem with a lot of the quote unquote prizes. So I find that a lot of women, just because they have some beauty, they think that they're the prize without bringing anything else to the table. They don't level up. They just think their beauty is the prize. But when you obtain a certain social status, beauty is everywhere.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
If I pull up in
Totally.
a 65-foot yacht, there's a line of women wanting to get onto that yacht. A line of them. Right? They're everywhere. So who's the prize? The women in line or the guy that owns the yacht? There's a
I don't
certain
know. I mean,
point where the men become the prize. Right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's still all the same dynamic, absolutely. But
And this is not to diminish the value of women. I love women. I would put a woman on a pedestal. They are my queen. But the thing is, there's a certain point where, I mean, can both the woman and the man be the prize?
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, like if I am looking at a man as the prize, I just feel like the dynamic would be so different. I'd be like, because like women are not parading around these guys and like casually slapping them on the ass and being like, bring me a cup of tea, honey. Like.
Well, the women put up with that because the man is the prize, right?
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
You disagree?
No, I completely do not agree. I think, just because. So, like, men are not dealing with like the same structural vulnerabilities and the oppressions. They're, like women are the ones who are punished for having sexual agency. Like we are the ones who, have to endure the slut shaming. You guys are the ones with all the power and the authority and the privilege. And, like guys are not acting like pick-me's. The reason that the women are competing for the men is because of pick-me mentality, because they want to be picked as that prize. And so if you have a lot of money, then we're going to be hoping that we get to be your prize. But, it's like, if you go to an expensive store and like the store people aren't going to say like, oh, a rich man came in, we got the prize, the man with the money. No, like the thing that you are getting with the money is still the prize, right?
So let's take Jeff Bezos. Who's the prize in that relationship?
Oh, see, the whole fact that Lauren Bezos has, like, she does so much with her appearance, that is showing, like, that is an indicator of her husband's wealth, showing that, like, look how good of a prize I am. I can afford all these things to do to myself because I'm one of the best prizes on earth.
Well,
So
I'm not saying he doesn't have a good woman, but if she left, there would be a line so long of good women wanting to step in her place.
Yeah, but
how are you going to find another Jeff Bezos?
I think that having success and money and being sought after as a man does not make you the prize, because it is still like you guys post some cute things on the Instagram sometimes about how, like, you can tell a man is rich by the way his girlfriend looks.
Yes.
So, that's because she's the
he can
she's
look
the object
he
to
can
show
look
off.
average. He can be overweight. It doesn't even matter. The women are lined up to be with him because he has achieved something, right?
Right.
He's not a janitor. No offense to any janitors. I mean, but if that's your chosen profession, that's great. But some people do, a lot of things with their life, and they have their choice. I just know, I know I had this inner desire from the very beginning of when I was girl crazy that I knew I needed to achieve something to attract the women, right? Because I wanted a prize. At that point, the women were the prize. But that I found that once I got to a certain point and I actually got older and achieved something, all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is easy. Now they're just like, literally, I probably had 6-7 messages on Seeking today of people wanting to see me, wanting to meet me, wanting to go out. It's easy. Before it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that every man should want to work on himself and become successful, so that he can have an easier time of it, and so that women are going to make a bigger effort with them for sure.
Yeah.
But there's something about seeing themselves at the prize that I think is kind of emasculating, honestly.
Yeah.
And
well, it's a good it's a good subject. We could go either way on it. I'm just running short, and there's another subject that I absolutely love that we got to touch on before Nikki gets out of here, and that is why does sugar dating work? I mean, it's obviously it works because the expectations are clear. I mean,
the expectations are clear, but it's still hard. There is still something that's so hard to navigate, and I think that. So I was trying to explain this last time, and I didn't explain very well what my thoughts were, but you know, women are holding on to their bodies and men are holding on to their finances until they, you know, can prove that it's going to work. But it's like they're each expecting the other one to be more generous first. And you know, all these guys who say, well, I want to make sure that it's authentic. You know, I'm not just going to put down a bunch of money at the beginning. That can be quite hard. That's one of the hardest things to navigate with sugar dating. And the problem is that if a woman is giving all of her time and attention and perhaps even her body before the guy is going to be willing to show his generosity, then she's going to be faking it. And so, you know, if he wants the authenticity, that's like, he's getting the exact opposite of what he wants, because she's still trying to figure out if he can be trusted. And if he's saying that he's a sugar daddy, you know, that's the main way that we know that you can be trusted. And so, you know, it's going to start off with paranoia. She's not going to be happy about giving all this time and attention until he feels ready to finally show his generosity. And, you know, like, men are constantly bombarding us with requests for, you know, chats and phone sex and photographs and all this stuff. You know, it's constantly putting women on defense. And we know that, you know, probably more than half of these guys are going to disappear as soon as they get what they want. And so, you know, when women are on defense, they never can fully open up and be their best, most amazing selves. They definitely can't be their sexiest selves. But, you know, a lot of guys are asking the women to put in so much more and to take a lot more risks when they're not risking anything until they absolutely want to.
Well,
you know, they just...
The fact that sugar dating can be a waste of time, but at least you get something for it, right? At least it's not financially a complete waste of time, where you could be on traditional dating apps and, you know, a month into it, you're like, I just wasted a fucking month with this person, got nothing out of this, and here I am starting over. Hopefully, if you're doing sugar dating right, at least you've gotten something out of it, right?
Yeah, I meet a lot of guys who want to fly me to them, and they won't even buy the ticket. They want me to buy the ticket, and they say they'll reimburse me. And you know, the financial situation does seem like it would work out, but they need to have me there in person with them. And I'm like, you know, if you're a sugar daddy, you should be buying me the ticket, because you're asking me to, you know, put myself in kind of a dangerous, risky position flying out to you. But I'm also, you know, I'm the only one putting in time and money, and you just get to sit back and wait for your chick delivery. And so,
well, they can ask. You don't have to agree. You can wait for what you want. That's what I love about it. You can be selective and, like, no, if you're not going to pay for the ticket, then sayonara. I mean, there's plenty of guys. I interview guys all the time that they tell me they flew somebody out. I know women who get flown out all the time. So, you know.
Yeah, I think it's crazy to ask the women to pay.
Well, I do too.
Ticket.
I absolutely do too. I would never ask somebody to pay for their ticket. I couldn't even imagine doing that.
Yeah. Well, they say they're going to reimburse you as soon as they see you in person. But the thing is, like, you know, even if you have had a situation where somebody maybe took advantage of you financially, you shouldn't punish all women for that. You know, there needs to be like a little bit of trust from the beginning, where the woman doesn't feel like she's doing all the work. And I get so surprised at these guys, especially because, like, if you buy me a plane ticket, I'm going to get on the plane. You know, if it's non-refundable, it's not. There's no way for me to actually scam you.
Yeah.
So funny.
Hey, Suki, we're going to continue this. I'm going to say bye to Nikki because she's got to run. But
Yes.
we're going to keep
Okay.
going after she walks away here. I want to say a special thanks to Nikki. She has done, I don't know how many episodes, probably
It's been since
15 or
October.
so.
It's been since like
20
October.
maybe. She has done this with no pay, just out of the goodness of her heart,
been
because
so
she
much
really
fun.
enjoys this lifestyle, enjoys
Yep.
learning, enjoys our guests.
Yep,
She's
the
been
community.
a
It's been
great,
great.
guest host, and I really, really appreciate her coming in and doing this, for me, for you guys. You'll see her at the parties, and,
Yes.
and we'll keep in touch. But this is her
Yeah.
last show for now.
Well, Marcus, thank you for having me because
Mm-hmm.
this has been a lot of fun, and I guess I'll see you at the party next.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suki, thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you. You've been so amazing. You've been so supportive, and you've spent quite a bit of time with me, and it's been so helpful. I really appreciate it. Your podcasts are amazing.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
All right, so Suki, now we're not constrained by time, so I don't have to rush through everything. I was just trying to make sure, because she's on a work schedule and I'm a little bit more flexible. I know sugar dating can be, it can, it's just it's so fluid and dynamic, and it can be good and it can be bad and it can be shocking, like we say. But there's just so many reasons why I think sugar dating is actually the way to go versus traditional dating. And that's because traditional
Totally.
dating often hides the expectations. And I find myself not being my authentic self when I go out on a traditional date, where sugar dating, instead of hiding the expectations, you're negotiating them.
Wait, so why are you not your authentic self?
Because
On
I
video
don't
dates?
want that person to be scared off, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say something where they look at me and go, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to date this guy again," because it's just a whole different dynamic. Whereas in sugar dating, I don't give a fuck what you like. I do care what you think, but I'll be my authentic self. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'll tell you what I like. I'll tell you what I don't like. I'll tell you my political views if you want to hear, my religious views. I don't care. Those things I don't discuss on a traditional first date or second date, because I don't know where that person is and where they're going and what their thoughts are. But in sugar dating, I'm the one financially funding this date or this whole thing. And if we don't mesh, that's great. That's fine. I've got plenty. I don't have a scarcity mindset where if I'm trying to meet somebody on Bumble or Match or Hinge or whatever, I am lucky if I get one match a week, and that's swiping 1,000 times. It's just exhausting, and I'm not getting matches with the ones that I really, really wanted to get a match with. People are like, on traditional apps and stuff, they're like, did you even read the bio? I'm like, no, who has time? Because I've read 1,000 of these bios and I swipe right and nobody ever swipes right on me.
Oh my God.
So why am I wasting my time? I'm just speed swiping at this point, right? Hoping to get a match. It's ridiculous. Whereas in sugar dating, I go through the profiles. I read the profiles. I reach out. Sometimes they reach out. We have a discussion. I'll actually message somebody, and I would say well over half of the time they actually message me back. That's pretty good odds right there.
Yeah. So, honestly, I think if a man has money, he is crazy to not do sugar dating. And I tried to go out with this wealthy man last week in London. We went on a couple dates, and he definitely is capable for sure of being a sugar daddy. We got along really well. I was attracted to him. but I was like, I have to try to convert him because I mean, he's handsome, but I'm not going to be able to fully get into it until I feel that generosity. That's just what seems like makes sense with this particular person in this situation. And so I enlisted the help of the ladies. I developed a strategy for trying to convert him. And I was like, so I told them beforehand on the ladies chat, I said, I'm on a date with this guy. I'm going to send a picture of us together. And I'm going to say, do you think I should vanilla date this guy? He's really nice. And I would love if you ladies send back a bunch of messages going, oh, but you're worth so much. Does he know that you need to be spoiled? And then I could show it to him on the date.
Yeah.
But it totally did not work. I mean, first of all, I told him what I was doing because there's no way for me to lie to someone like that. I just thought it would be really funny. And I thought even if he was in on the ruse, he still might be convinced. And it didn't work. And it's just so frustrating because it's like when you have a ton of money and you really, really like someone and you know that you can help them with, either major stuff and helping them have a better life or just little basics of taking care of their expenses, just something that's going to make their heart be so warm to make them feel taken care of. Why would you not want to do that if you're capable of it?
Yeah. Sugar dating is so misunderstood. And it amazes me the amount of people that criticize sugar dating while they're, and they're transactional dating while they're doing it themselves. Like, you know how many guys, it is funny too, because I see these memes on Instagram and stuff, and they'll go, hey, baby, I just paid for dinner. Are we going to have sex tonight? And she's like, no. And he's like, he basically kicks her out of the car and sends her home. I mean, the guy is expecting something. It's all transactional. My ex-wife, she used to offer sexual favors for, hey, I'd really like this bag. Can you buy it for me? I'll do that extra special thing you like. All right, if that's what it's going to take. I mean, it's all transactional.
What's the extra special thing you like? I'm dying to know.
Well, I mean, I'm not too crazy, but I'm just saying. I mean, women negotiate that all the time in traditional relationships and expectations, and the men, they'll buy fancy vacations, they'll buy fancy cars and things like that. Yet they criticize sugar dating, and it just floors me because it's all transactional. I don't care if you call it vanilla, or traditional, or sugar dating. It's all transactional.
And it's like, really the women are going to tolerate so much more if they're getting nice gifts. Like if you have bad manners, you can make up for it with gifts. If you got bad breath,
if you're a little overweight, if you're a little pudgy, that's what I'm saying. Average men can put themselves into a position where they can be their authentic self, and they don't have to worry about it. Now, using the cheat code gets the woman in front of you. To keep that woman, now you got to do the work. Like, you got to be personable. You have to have some chemistry. You can't fake it the whole time, because a woman can't fake it, and she doesn't want, if she just doesn't see herself being around you and really can't even stand to be on the date, it's not going to last. We've talked about,
we did fake it, but.
We've talked about Lily, where she was offered massive amounts of money, multi-millions of dollars, and she turned it down. Oh, she's gorgeous. But she's like, I don't feel that way with this guy. I can't live with a guy for 5 years that I look at him and I don't have any attraction to him. The crazy thing is he ended up passing away after like a couple years. So she would have only had to serve 2 years instead of 5. But still, though, I mean, anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense to me in so many millions of ways. And I feel like guys who understand this kind of dating, it just makes them seem like they are just more aware of how the world works. So average women over their lifetimes, they spend $300,000 more than men on personal needs and like health stuff and beauty stuff.
Wow, that sounds low. That sounds like a low number.
Well,
I would think it'd be.
That's for regular women, but for sugar babies who are doing a lot more, and like if you get a lot of the clothes, the procedures, the everything. Like for high end sugar babies, it is so much more than that.
Oh yeah.
And so it just makes more sense that we have more expensive lives. Our products are more expensive, whatever. But also, like, I just think in general, at any date between a man and a woman, the person who is least likely to be a victim of sexual assault should be the person to pay. If one of the end goals is hopefully eventually sex, like, that is just what makes sense, because women are taking on so much more risk. But I see sugar dating as a very reasonable transfer of wealth from an entitled class of people to a more oppressed class of people.
Oh, you think so, huh? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's reparations. Black people deserve reparations first, and then all women.
Oh, don't even go that, man. Now you've gone down some subjects that we highly disagree on. But hey, as we end though, I have some a couple rapid fire segments. I just want to get your quick thoughts on these.
Okay.
Would you rather date a rich and emotionally unavailable, or broke and emotionally mature?
Oh, God. Well, emotionally unavailable is kind of fine for me.
So rich and emotionally unavailable is fine for you.
Well, because I have avoidant attachment style. I'm pretty emotionally unavailable unless the emotional connection is so incredible. So if he's just rich and we get to do fun stuff and he doesn't want to be super tender with me, that's totally fine.
All right. What's the biggest lie men tell in dating?
Well, men have this problem with the way that their sexual brains are programmed, and they are victims to virile arrogance. And so the lies they tell are the lies they tell themselves about their abilities.
Okay. What's the biggest lie women tell themselves in dating?
Oh, God, the biggest one that we tell ourselves?
Yeah.
That we need to have a fucking laundry list of things when it should just be about chemistry.
Yeah. What instantly kills attraction? Like instantly.
When men skip the stages of attraction, when they go straight to talking about what they want to do to you sexually,
really?
And they don't try to seduce you, and they don't go through the micro escalations, and because you need that tension, and we need to know that the man is going to respect our pacing. Because, like, I can be seduced so fast, but you have to go through all the stages. If you skip the stages, you're screwed. We
talked about that, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, but I can't remember if it was Alejandra or somebody. But, yeah, she wasn't going to sleep with the guy on the first or second date, right? And he ended up giving up. And it was just like, but you have no idea what you could have worked into, right? Because behind door number 3 is a wild woman, right? And you could have experienced that if you would have just had your patience and not tried to jump to it too quickly, right?
Yeah.
So I've found that, there's a lot of women who are like, look, we're not doing anything on the first date or even the second date. And then when we finally did something, I'm just like, whoa, that was worth waiting for, right? I had no idea.
I mean, with me, you don't usually have to wait for it. You just have to be polite and not be like, I want to blah 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 to you.
Yeah.
I want it to sort of unfold and as if we were both not expecting it. I don't want anyone talking about sex before we're actually doing it. Like, after you're in me, then we can start talking the sex talk, but not before.
There you go. All right. Any last parting words? This has been fun. We're going to have you come on because, oh my God, man, I have so much on my list of things that we were going to talk about. Of course, we ran out of time very quickly, but
I had a million things. Well, because the thing is, like, I'm writing a book about sex. I have a degree in human sexuality studies. This is shit that I'm always thinking about and researching and writing about. So that's why it was very easy for me to come up with like 20,000.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on again. It was a lot of fun, and we'll get you scheduled again real soon. And then you got to come to one of our parties. You got to come.
I have to. Yeah, I definitely have to. And Marcus, I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And so my debating style, I love butting heads, but I love you. And so don't be mad at me for debating you. I love our differences of opinion.
No, our audience loves to hear both sides. And that's why I wish you were here. I'd love to have you as a co-host. Oh my God, we'd have so much fun.
It would be fun. And then we wouldn't have all these sound issues.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. If you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, thoughts, like Suki did, we'd love to hear those. Go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You can contact me there, or you can follow us on Instagram, message me there. I do get a lot of messages on Instagram. It's fun. And, of course, we want you to become a member of our family. You can join Suki in the WhatsApp chat group. How many people are in that? Do you know?
I think it's 90 when I
Is it up to 90?
checked.
Wow. It's growing all the time, but you got to join our Patreon before we're going to add you on there, and it's very cheap to join Patreon. So, and then, if you cancel, we're not going to kick you out, but it's certainly a nice little perk for our Patreon members to get you on the girls' WhatsApp chat. I don't know what you guys talk about in there. I'm not allowed. No men are allowed. So it's kind of fun for the women. They can talk about anything they want. Yeah.
It's so fun in there. It's my favorite. It's my favorite community.
Yeah.
I get so much sustenance from it.
Well, I know Alejandra, like every now and then I'll go, so what's going on in the women's chat? Anything crazy going on? She goes, I don't know. And she'll pull it up and she'll have like 190 unread messages. She's like, I don't know. I can't go through all these. So anyway, it's funny. All right. Well, thanks again. We got to run. This has gone really long, but I could talk for hours with you, and we're going to get you on again soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?